Thanks for watching Maswati Lamahle. Once again, we're just talking in our Finance in Focus, just looking at things going on. And what I wanted to have people understand, and that is that we have been, for a period of time, being very concerned around our taxation that we have in Eswatini. We have found that even though taxation continues to grow quite well, ERS really is doing a good job at collecting taxes in Eswatini. We generally have a double-digit growth on the amount of tax that we are collecting, even though we are not increasing tax, which means we're not increasing the tax thresholds. In fact, even reduced the thresholds here or there and taken items off VATable lists and things like that, as people know that we have done recently. But at the same time, they have to broaden the tax base. But as much as taxations in general have gone up, we've got one area that's really causing trouble for us, and that is that the VAT collections in what we call the retail sector. So generally shops, wholesales in the country, the VAT that we're collecting from them is generally on a downward trajectory instead of the normal upward trajectory. And we do definitely believe that there's a certain amount of fraud and a certain amount of VAT that is kept by these shops, or sometimes even claimed unrighteously by a large portion of the retail sector, is causing trouble for us as a country. And so as much as ERS has been trying to get on top of this and been trying to work on this, we have found that it has been very difficult for them to be able to get on top of this themselves. And so we've decided as the ministry, together with ERS, to bring in some external support to try to help us. And so we now have a team here from Uganda, which have really got a wonderful track record of success when it comes to fixing tax fraud. And they've landed in the country, and they are starting straight away with helping ERS to be able to collect, to be able to go into that retail sector in general and really make sure that we identify companies and shops that are either not paying VAT or being fraudulent on the VAT front, and bring them to book. And we're going to be quite strict on that front, really to make sure that that these companies are brought in line with taxation. And if they've been naughty and if they've been committing tax fraud, they will be held accountable, even for historic tax fraud that they have been committing. As a country, we all need to be able to pull our weight in paying taxes. The tax system is designed that the poor do not pay tax, but we can't have a sector in our country which is somehow not paying tax and not pulling their weight on taxation. In fact, often taxing eMaswati, the VAT, and then not paying it over and keeping it for themselves, or even creating fictitious claims on VAT. And so from that perspective, we really are going to be getting very strict as a country on this. The team from Uganda is now landed. They're going to be helping us to be able to identify. They've been helping many countries in this regard, and as Eswatini, we believe it's going to make a big impact in Eswatini on the fraud that is taking place within the VAT collections in the retail sector. So that's going to be the focus. That might look outside of that, but the main focus is definitely going to be there, because we know, even as ERS and as the tax authority, we know where our problem lies, and our problem is hugely in that sector of the business community. And so yes, if the Maswati outside hear about some people from Uganda coming in, please do work with us. We believe it's all for the right reason. We believe if we can get that taxation right within that retail sector and the taxes are collected, eMaswati get the benefit from that. It is money that goes towards service delivery in Eswatini. And so it's not something negative that is being done. It is something actually very positive, to be able to collect those taxes, that the taxes then come into the government, and government can then use that to build the roads and fund the schools and fund the hospitals and do what we need to do. I know one can say that one can criticize government in many fronts, but really ultimately we wake up every day in government trying to improve the systems, trying to see what we can do to try to get service delivery better. And where there is corruption and different elements even within government, there's constant work being done to try to eliminate that and to try to put processes in place to stop that. In fact, if I can maybe speak on that, I really do believe that as to try and sort out corruption in our country, along that similar vein, we do need to constantly find ways to try to prevent corruption from taking place. Constantly trying to catch people doing corruption is such a time-consuming thing. We end up maybe even filling our prisons and costing the taxpayer even more money now looking after people in prisons. It really isn't a smart way. We need to work out how is corruption taking place and stop it. So just as we have done with the vehicles, we bought a fleet of vehicles as government, and these vehicles are very tightly controlled. And corruption on fuel theft is now almost impossible with these vehicles, because you can only get fuel once the vehicle has traveled the kilometers that they've traveled. You know exactly who's traveled, you know where the travel has taken place. It's very good controls in this technology system which is being installed. We find that the consumption of fuel by government has gone down 40% already, and we haven't even finished rolling the whole program out yet. So just proving that the way to solve corruption is actually technology with these kind of methods. With putting in IFMIS in government, again, it's going to help to stop any possible corruptions taking place, for people not processing paperwork, or people taking their time to try and get something for it, or claims that there's corruption taking place within the financial sector. IFMIS, which is now being installed, it's actually happening. This budget is being done in IFMIS. This IFMIS process, which is a fully paperless system, really will make sure that this transparency it brings will stop any possible corruption that is happening within that sector. So like that, we need to continue to put things in place as government to try to make sure we close all of those gaps